How was everyone's New Year? Mine was great. I had a fantastic New Year. I mean, I didn't do anything because, I have kids and I'm older. So stay home. Hello. It's good to see familiar faces back in chat. Oh, Gigabear worked all week. Yeah, I hear you. The Sunday after New Year's Eve, I was so excited. I like rushed back into work and was doing a lot of stuff. And I think I overdid it. Yeah. I think I overdid it. So I'm taking it a little easy today. We're going to keep the stream a little low key. Just relax with the community. I miss you guys. Hey, I see Ben is with us. Hey, Ben. Happy New Year. And Ricardo. And of course, the CSR and Harry, the CSR. We know who you are. It's your fault I'm in a maid outfit. Yeah, we got some peeps here today. We are kicking off a new year here for Ember, and let's get some preliminaries out of the way here. We are doing a sale that ends after this stream. Sometime after this stream, we are doing a 50% off skins, including the lovely CSR skins that everybody loves, and they get vaulted after this, so they're not available again. Their rarities indicate how many times a year they're for sale on average, excluding special events like the one we're having right now. So, like something like a rare, which is the minimum you get for the subscription plan, is about 4 times per year. And you get all the way up to, like, I think legendary, which is once per year. Then we have some exclusive ones, which are, of course, with the newcomer packs and things like that. So if you missed a skin, this is the time to get it. And it's the other thing we're doing is 20% off newcomer packs, M3 upgrades, newcomer upgrades, all of that stuff. And this is off the 2021 pricing. So you're getting 20% off the lower pricing. And after the stream, not immediately after, there's usually a grace period, I will put the prices, unfortunately, back to, not back to, but up to 22 levels, 2022. Because I think we all have recognized we can't ignore anymore the sort of like rising cost of food and gas and everything else. It's just been crazy. So, but I wanted to provide this sort of sale opportunity, give everyone a chance to get in at the lower prices at a discount before that takes effect later today. So thank you very much. TJ, the Hedge Scout, asks, hey, Mark, can you wear a future stream wearing Fallout power armor? Let's see. I can decide which one. I was never a Fallout fan. I know this is going to like really upset some people. I played the OG Fallout, right? Like on the Apple II. I like that one. And then my kids play the more recent Fallouts. You know what ruined it for me? My first new Fallout experience was the kids were so into Fallout 4. I was like, you know what? Let's all pre-order Fallout 76. Yeah. Yeah, it's multiplayer. Let's get in there. Oh, that was a mistake. So we loaded that sucker up, right? Me and the kids were hopping in. We're all ready to have a good time. It was so terrible at launch. It was so terrible at launch. It put me off Fallout for a while. I even tried the Outer Worlds for like 5 minutes, and I was just like, what if this sucks again? And I had PTSD, and I stopped playing, even though I hear that's a good game. Yeah, Fallout 76, man. That was the year of Fallout 2. We were all excited. I think, for Christmas, one of the kids got a Pip-Boy, Fallout wallet. We're all excited. It was such a letdown. Is it good now? Is the game good now? I'm looking in Discord. It better be good now. And the helmets had mold in them, the collector's edition helmets or something. It's something horrible like that. Well, you know what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to what's Bethesda's new space opera epic game coming out? What's that called? Starfield? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Dang, that game looks good. I mean, they've shown nothing, but it's like the cutscenes look good. Man, yeah, you think after being a game developer for so long and playing games for so long that I wouldn't be like taken in by cutscene and stuff like that, but I so am. I'm just like a sucker for it. You know, I was watching an interview with Robert Downey Jr. on Iron Man, and he was saying that he just gets sucked into any movie, no matter how bad it is, because he's so into cinema. I think that's the problem with me. It's that I'm still very much a hype person. I get into the hype. They may not be cutscenes, like they're not saying what's in-game graphics or not, but I kind of like, you know what I like? I like the whole astronaut aesthetic, right? Like, I really feel like we're coming into a wonderful age of space exploration here again. And and I love that sort of NASA aesthetic taken to a sci-fi degree, and Starfield's got that. So I kind of like that. It's just kind of like almost kind of retro meets new age because it looks nothing like modern space travel, right? If you look at SpaceX capsules, it's basically a smartphone. They've got a big screen in front of them, and there's no switches, and they don't do anything. They just kind of sit there, and the astronauts twiddle their thumbs, and the computer does everything. Zingo, I love Deep Rock. Deep Rock's one of my favorite games, and you can believe that that's the reason why I wanted to try voxels too. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Toshi says play Heavenly Bodies. Toshi, aren't you heavily into oh, the name escapes me. Come on, the No Man's Sky. There we go. Aren't you heavily into No Man's Sky? How's that going? They just do patch after patch, more and more content, right? I hear it's really good now. That's another game I pre-ordered. And I wasn't as disappointed as Fallout 76. I pre-ordered No Man's Sky, and I had some fun. And I earned a lot of money. I found some loophole or something and earned a lot of money, and then I stopped playing, and I was like, it needs content, but the bones are good, you know? Well, I think No Man's Sky sales. Look, in the game industry, even after the game launches, if you have a positive update, you'll sell more copies. You'll sell legacy copies. We used to call it back catalog, right? And this would happen at Blizzard too. We would come out with I don't know, Diablo 2, and then Diablo 1 sales would spike. It was really weird. It's like, hey, there's Diablo 2. Diablo 1's really old. No. We're gonna buy more Diablo 1 too. Yep. So I like that astronaut aesthetic. So I'm looking forward to Starfield. What other games are you looking forward to in 2022? Starfield's 2022, right? No Man's Sky, I want to try again. Lost Ark. I don't know, dude. Maybe. Uh, let's see. Horizons Forbidden West. Mist. Okay. We liked Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, we played it a decent bit here. We didn't finish the game, not like Assassin's. No, sorry, God of War. We finished God of War. We finished Nier Automata, all that stuff, and then Horizons came out. We're like, that's pretty cool, but we didn't play it all the way through. I'm looking forward to more Star Citizen too. I'm doubling down in the Star Citizen universe. I just like flying around, and I want to do. Marcus like, no, don't double down on Star Citizen. I like it. I have to admit, even now in its current state, I do like putzing around the verse. But I mean, but for gameplay, definitely Starfield. It's like, okay, now I want Star Citizen, but I want some gameplay with it too. So hopefully Starfield does that for me. How about Final Fantasy remakes? When are we getting the next parts? We have part one. Except, of course, it's now that Square Enix has announced that they're really super duper interested in NFTs. Everyone's sort of like waiting to see what happens there, and is worried that Final Fantasy VII is going to be filled with NFTs or Final Fantasy 14 is going to be filled with NFTs. Yeah, everyone's worried. You know, my view of NFTs is, look, there's NFTs and there's blockchain technology. The two things, they're not necessarily the same, right? Blockchain technology is a distributed database technology that I think is really cool and has potential for a lot of interesting things in gaming, including things like a truly open metaverse protocol, which I'm not ready to talk about here yet. But imagine that items are transportable between worlds, and anyone can run a server, and no one has to worry about economies being tweaked, right? And this is because everything can be regulated with a sort of like public blockchain, and the things that people want to acquire can be drops can be regulated by sort of like how often new transactions are added to the block and things like this. I don't want to get into too much detail. I am going to on Twitter start talking about blockchain technologies as I deep dive into them. I used to be in blockchain stuff 6 years ago. I actually ran a Litecoin farm, and now I'm getting back into it. I'm really interested. And then the whole NFT thing, that's just built on top of blockchain technology, and using it as a sort of like pointer to JPEGs on the web that are really shitty art. I don't think that's I don't think that's going to last. I think people are going to lose their shirts. But in terms of, say, a digital identity, a gamer identity that's uniquely yours, that you can bring from game to game, and that has certain accelerants and things, or opening up marketplaces between games. People say, "Oh, you could just do all this now in CS:GO, or you can do this all now." It's like, yeah, but that's all locked to their system. When you open up a market and let anyone trade in it, interesting things can happen. And there's going to be two things that fall out of this. There's going to be a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is that for some games, it works like really, really well. Like some games that are very socially oriented, or and the example that keeps coming back up after like 15 years is Second Life, right? There are people who make money in Second Life selling stuff, and it's a creator's economy. Let me put it this way, or Roblox, right? Any game that is based around a creator's economy, that it's all user generated content and gamers can make cool shit and share it with other gamers. I think that blockchain and NFTs and crypto is great for that. Any game where it's like play to earn, I think is risky. I think that that's going to actually exist, but it's not like you create stuff and then you sell it to other players, right? This is where it's like you just play the game and you get drops, and it's like freaking real money, right? You can sit there and trade a token. That's unfortunately going to exist too, and it's kind of a form of gambling, right? And whether or not what drops in the game for a token is worth anything is going to be up to the value of the IP of the game, right? So a game like Final Fantasy or something with very strong IP, the goods that drop in that game are going to be worth more. But that's going to create a lot of degenerate gameplay. That's going to create a lot of players that are just playing to mine the drops. I mean, you thought gold farming was bad. This is going to be gold farming times 100. And unfortunately, you're going to see a split, and this is not necessarily good for society too, because you're going to get a sort of like faux wealth existence where you can lead a wealthy life in a game and be wealthy in virtual items, but in reality, not have any wealth. It's sort of like an opiate for the masses. You're going to be sort of existing in this digital universe, earning digital goods that you trade for other digital goods, and you might amass a lot of it and feel good, but in reality, things are not so good. I think that that's going to be, unfortunately, a thing. I think that that's going to actually happen. It's like people trapped in the holodeck. You can have a much richer life in the holodeck than you can in real life, and people will get sucked into that and won't actually do anything with their real lives or with their real family connections around them, and that's going to be bad. But that, I hate to tell you, there's no stopping that now. I think with crypto and with the focus on metaverse and the fact that Facebook's going to put so much money into it, they're going to want people strapped into seats with visors on and and it won't be fun. This class of games will be people playing just for the sake of making virtual incomes, to get virtual stuff, and it's going to be kind of sad. And then you're going to have games. You're still going to have games because, that's not going away. So I don't want to say that this is like a negative outcome. You're gonna get a split in the market. You're going to get a whole bunch of gamers and games that people like to play as games, and then you're going to get sort of these virtual worlds which are not creator economies, that are more like the play to earn. I actually am positive on metaverses that are player economy driven, player created worlds. I think that that's really cool. And but yeah, I also see this, and unfortunately, what you're going to see is the game stuff is going to take a back burner. The game stuff's going to take a back burner because all these AAA companies are going to pour money into it. Facebook has aligned their entire company around it. Think about that for a minute. Okay, think about what that means. Thousands of the best, brightest developers in the world creating AR technologies, VR technologies, gaming technologies. They don't know what they're going to do with it yet, and then they're going to somehow stitch all of this together. No AAA company can compete with that. No AAA game company is going to come anywhere near that. And there's going to be a lot of stuff falling out of Facebook. And I think a lot of stuff will trickle down into games to be good. Like they could create some amazing rendering tech, or, some other type of innovation, or make VR cheap and easy to use and non-nauseous finally, Yeah, but the results, Toshi, you're right. The results have sucked so far. What they've shown, I don't know if you've seen like the Walmart stuff and the Samsung stuff with Facebook. That's in partnership with Facebook, right? It looks worse than Second Life, which is like a 15-year-old game, okay? It's so cringe. Yes, it's so cringy. And you're going to see, but what I'm saying is you're going to see all the investment, all the professional investment, all the money, and all the stock market go into this grand experiment, okay? And parts of it will succeed, and parts of it will trap people in this sort of metaverse play-to-earn type of thing, which is really going to be a pathetic kind of zombie land in some ways. And some of it will be cool. Some of it will be metaverses that are like player-driven, where it's really a creative environment, and you can make and earn money off of that if you put hard work into it, and that's going to be cool. And then, but unfortunately, the regular game stuff, they're not going to get a lot of attention for a couple of years. I saw this happen with Web 1.0. If you were I was making video games when Web 1.0 came along, and everyone put money into Web 1.0, and nobody was investing in video games. So that's why it's important that we go crowdfunding. That's why it's important that we go direct to you guys, because the investment money is really, unless you say, oh, metaverse, blah, 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 NFT, blah, 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 initial coin offering, blah, 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 play to earn, you're not going to get the investors' attention. So we're in a weird time in 2022, but also a good time. And I think that ultimately, after the dust settles, you are going to get, like I said, some of these parasitic universes that trap humanity in metagaming, and then you're going to get a lot of great gaming tech come out of it too, and games will be better than ever. So it's not better or worse. I would just say that landscape is changing, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. And we just have to like hold the fort, keep our focus on games, and definitely take advantage of any of those technologies that come out to support the metaverse. Like the Unreal 5 engine that we just switched to. I don't know if you tried the Unreal 5 engine on PlayStation 5 or Xbox, but there's some tech coming in there that isn't even in our preview yet. There's like crowd AI. There's all this sort of stuff that they're developing for the metaverse. And then Epic's making a lot of content free, right? Like if you want metahumans, that's free. If you want, mega scans, that's free. If you want ArtStation tutorials, that's free now too, because they bought ArtStation. You're going to see a vast amount of resources free for indie game devs to make this stuff. So the trickle down effect of all this money being invested into the metaverse and NFT gaming and all that stuff, that's going to be good for regular games too. And we're excited about that. I'm excited about that. I'm looking at what's going into Unreal Engine 5 coming down the pike, and I am so happy that we switched to it. I'm so happy that we switched to it because there's a lot of good stuff coming. And I'm so happy with the voxel terrain experiment for destructible terrain, for kaiju stomping through, for base building and stuff like that. Because it actually looks to be as performant or more performant than regular Unreal terrain. Plus, we get the benefit of full destructibility. And it seems to be running well on your guys' systems. So I think that's good. Um, let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of clunkiness, but that'll go away. I mean, there's so many buzzwords in blockchain gaming right now and metaverse gaming. Nobody cares until you can explain it in a sentence what the value is to a person, and they can't because a lot of these don't have value, and a lot of these are pure bunk right now. But that doesn't mean the whole tech is bunk. Like I tell
Who
the
do you?
story about. Oh, go ahead, Ronan.
Oh, I was just going to ask, who do you think might get a, find a good integration of NFTs in the gaming first? Kind
Right
of around.
now, nobody that none of these NFT projects that I've launched, and I've looked into some pretty deeply. None of them are worth a crap. I think the people who already understand player economies. Sorry. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think Roblox is going to find a way to integrate blockchain in a way that doesn't like you're not going to notice it. The game that does it, you're not even going to be having to be a crypto bro and know all the terms, and be cool with the lingo and understand what the hell is going on. Crypto confuses everybody. You're not even going to see crypto. They'll just build it into the back end of something like Roblox, and then they have the greatest chance of doing something interesting. The other one that has the greatest chance of doing something interesting, if they do it, is actually Second Life. There's a lot of, Second Life is trending again for the first time in 15 years, right? And what they have is they actually have, because I don't know if you guys know, but in Red 5, we were looking for a chief financial officer, CFO, right? And we interviewed the then CFO of Second Life. He applied for the job. And I got an eye opener in virtual economy, right? From this guy. It was an eye opener. They miss the boat on the creator stuff. They don't take a cut of what stuff gets made and sold. They do, but it's very small. It's not like Steam or anything else. It's not like 30%. It's tiny. They made off their money off land rentals, land maintenance fees, renting servers to users basically. And this was and but beyond that, and so they made decent money, not like huge amounts of money compared to like AAA gaming or something, but robust money, right? And but what was more interesting was the money that they weren't making the players were making. There were content creators that were making stuff for the game that were making millions of dollars, right? And it's a lot of work. This isn't like BS NFT stuff, that they're actually putting work in, making stuff that other players want, and there's a huge business there that's still ongoing to today. Second Life's mistake was they didn't really understand that market was going to dwarf land sales, and they didn't capitalize on it like say take a 30% cut like every other platform in the world does. So I think, but where they have the advantage is a lot of this current metaverse stuff that overlaps with finance. They don't have a legal framework. They haven't gone through all the regulation, paperwork, and everything to do real money transactions. But Second Life has. Second Life has, for over a decade now, set up. They had to go through this. They were the pioneers, right? So they have an in-world currency that converts to real-world dollars because the creators can cash out. They make stuff in game, they sell it for virtual currency, then that virtual currency gets converted to dollars when they cash out. They have gone through the regulatory requirements for globally, because they're a global game. They've done this for 10 years now. And so they have all the legal paperwork. And you can't underestimate that. When you're talking about getting into finance and real money transactions with multiple governments, that's a lot of value. So I think this is why, and this was kind of under the news, but I picked up on it. A private equity firm picked up Second Life sometime during COVID. And I think that I think this is why, because while the game itself, it's still kind of like 50 or 60,000 concurrent, which is kind of amazing. That's better than 99% of games out there. but they have the regulatory framework in place. They could easily go blockchain and they could make something happen. So, like I said, run the worlds that are creator focused, where the users are creating content. I think that is the best possibility for this. So we're talking Roblox, which is obviously, a huge public valuation company, and we're talking a 15-year-old game like Second Life that has value if they update, right? They sold the company to private equity. If private equity pours money into it, updates everything, and they have this 10 years of regulatory stuff in the can, and they're already making money, and players are already making money in it by not by playing, but by actually making stuff and selling it to other players. That is the most genuine potential so far. Then there's going to be unseen applications for blockchain, stuff that blockchain makes possible. That because it actually does make some things possible that you can't just do with a regular database. That's the unknown. Somebody's going to come up with some novel application for that, but I have not yet seen that myself, and I've been looking around.
Very interesting. I do a fair amount of consulting for like marketing and community building for indie games, and almost every single game, the people have asked me, "Should we do NFTs?"
Do you want gamers or do you want crypto bros in your game?
Yeah, I see. The problem is I'm super hesitant to even answer the question. Like either way, I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm still trying to get my head wrapped around the whole thing, and I don't have it yet. I can't quite see the point, the future. I know it's coming. I know things are happening, but I can't figure it out yet.
The brutal honesty is that, like any new tech that takes off, there's going to be a lot of scams, a lot of inflated valuations, and a lot of investment, and only the strong will survive. A lot of people who look like the leaders will disappear completely, and you got to wait for the second wave to come up from the dust of the initial fall. This is just like Web 1.0 and versus Web now, right? Everything sort of imploded. Nobody remembers GeoCities anymore. MySpace, what's that? These guys didn't have business models. They couldn't monetize it because they didn't realize the money's in collecting everyone's data and selling ads. But people had to figure this out, and people will figure it out with blockchain and blockchain gaming. So if you're advising indie companies, it's tough because unless they have like a good crowdfunding source, no investor is going to put their money into a traditional game right now because the buzz is too high. The money, it's too easy to get crypto bros to invest in your game right now. As long as it's the right type of game, it's got to like have play to earn or whatever, and a couple other features. If you're an indie dev looking for investors and you're not saying that you're an NFT game, you have a much harder chance of raising capital than if you're saying we're going to make an NFT game. And that's just the bitter reality of it. This is exactly when, prior to Blizzard, I had a tiny game company, and we were going to go and try to raise money, and everyone looked at us and said, "Well, you're not a web-based game. Are you doing anything on the web?" We're like, "No, we're making games for PC." And they said, "Oh, well, that's nice." And of course, in Web 1.0, there's money to be made, right? These investors were pouring in billions of dollars into failed web companies that had no business models, that just did not make sense on paper. And I was listening to these companies at Harvard. I was at the Harvard Symposium, and I was going around and talking to all the CEOs of these now defunct web companies, and they had no idea, but they were rich, and they got rich. So, if you want to make money, go NFT right now. Do it. And just don't expect that you'll survive long term. Get in and get out. But if you want to make games, make games. That's my advice. But if you're an indie game, you're in a hard spot right now. Trying to get an investor without being blockchain or NFT or metaverse is going to be difficult right now.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. That's just where all the money is going right now. Just like, but it'll change. It'll pass. And it'll swing back. But NFTs and blockchain are not going away. Like I said, you're going to have this sort of like games and metaverses that are more like, you know, you play it for your work, you play it for income, a side hustle or something like that, and then there's going to be games for enjoyment. And the games for enjoyment, some of them might be blockchain based and could be really cool, but they won't be so enticing that that the majority of players are just sitting there running bots or endlessly clicking buttons to try to earn stuff.
If
So,
we get
oh,
oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was just going to ask. So if we get a lot of like, if there's an influx of people who are only playing the game because they think they can somehow make money off of it, is that going to have like, is that going to be good for the gamers who are just there to have fun, like more people, or is it like going to turn things weird? What do you think on that?
I think gamers will always be here. I think we'll always be here. I think we're always gonna. And are we going to be the vast majority of people that are currently going to be piling into metaverses trying to make money? No, we're going to be playing for other reasons, and we might be very grumpy because we're not getting as many games without this sort of taint of NFTs. But after the initial crash, and it may not be a hard crash, right? It could just be a, oh, wait a second, most of the NFT ideas are stupid, all right? But here's a couple that are good, right? And once that settles, the money will come back into games, But the gamers are not going anywhere. You guys aren't going to go suddenly rush off and play NFT only games. There's no incentive for gamers to do that. Gamers hate that, you know. You might, if the money's good, maybe you'll have a side hustle. Maybe you will play one of these NFT games because it's like, hey, why not? I can use my gamer skills, and that's what their crypto bros are banking on. But it's really funny because if you look at these NFT games right now, there's nobody playing them. The people that are playing them are NFT bros who have hired people in the Philippines to literally, and this is the biggest country for NFT play, to go play the games to earn drops for which they get a cut. Okay, they pay these guys a cut of whatever loot drops in the game to do it. And, and the problem is none of these NFT games are fun, right? So I don't think you'll see gamers going to NFT games until there's something that's fun. Zingo is asking, will Em8er have NFTs? What will we do an NFT of? CSR art? I don't think so, Zingo. But will it have blockchain stuff? I don't know. It might. If there's a good use case for it, will it be in your face? No. But the reality is, I think blockchain stuff is very interesting. I think distributed database stuff. I think gamer identity. If we came up with like a gamer passport for Em8er that said, hey, this is your identity, and if we come up with another game, you can bring that identity to another one of our games, and there's some cross benefit to that, and it's encrypted and it's you, and it's your digital identity. I think that's one cool thing, right? So is that an NFT? I guess that's an NFT of you, right? So that's like your digital identity. The other thing you can think of NFTs is you can think of them as stocks. Kind of not like stock, an index, like an S&P index, not an actual security, right? But like but it's sort of like, you can think of it as like, I didn't understand the art NFT thing. I was like, I don't understand this. But when I thought about it as this way, that people are just betting that this art and this artist is going to be famous and worth something someday, then it's sort of like a tracking index fund, sort of like their reputation. You're bidding on their reputation of the art and the artist for the future, and that you can find someone else to sell it to. But it's not what Warren Buffett calls a productive asset. Warren Buffett's famously anti-crypto, right? And he likes assets that actually produce something, like a farm. I'll invest in a farm because it produces wheat. But if I invest in something that's a pointer to a JPEG on a server somewhere, that produces nothing, right? But he doesn't even like Bitcoin, and I actually like Bitcoin. I actually believe that Bitcoin is a great a facilitator for monetary transactions and stores of value. But NFT, I have a hard time wrapping my hand around. I have to admit. The guy who made George Floyd's NFTs made 40. Yeah, that's the thing, is you could spit and make money. As long if you're comfortable with that, Go make an NFT. If you got a good idea for an NFT, hey, go do it while the getting's good, right? You know, it's like everyone seems comfortable with it. Everyone's doing it, but you know, don't expect it to be a long term thing. Don't put your life savings into it because everyone's going to wash out, and then there's going to be a second wave, and that's when you're going to see the real value. And the second wave is where it's at. But I think it's important to understand the technology now. That's why I'm looking into it. That's why you'll see me tweet about it. And I'll call it blockchain technology. NFTs, they're so weird, man. The whole community around NFTs is really strange too. I think there's a lot of funny money too. And the more I look into it, I mean, it's like the Wild West out there right now. People are pumping stuff. People are buying their own NFTs. A lot of people were early crypto miners when this stuff was easy to mine, so they got a lot of funny money to throw around, and they don't really care because it cost them like $50 to earn, $10 million worth of Ethereum now. They spent $50 in electricity back in the day, so it's just a gag to them. It's just a one big lulz, right? It's just like, yeah, I spent $1 million on an NFT because it really only cost me $1 of electricity back in the day to mine it, and I'm going to turn it around and sell it to some other one of my crypto bros for double the money next week. It's like monopoly money to them.
Yeah,
it's like the 10,000 Bitcoin pizza,
Right. It's just what's crazy. It's come. I don't want to say the words can't come out of nowhere, but it's definitely reached a fever pitch, relatively quickly. And so now, whether you want it or not, you're dealing with it. You have artists who, let's say you draw pictures. You've been drawing pictures and putting them online for 15, 20 years, right? Suddenly, you get a notification that you have to take your image down that you made because some site says it's the same as an NFT. You look into it, it's because somebody took it and turned it into an NFT, even though they didn't draw it.
Yeah.
So now, whether you care or not, whether you want to be involved or not, you're thrust into it.
NFTs are not copyright. NFTs, there's no legal, just because it's unique on a blockchain, without a legal framework to defend the copyright, you own nothing, right? So, but you got to deal with it now. Everyone's got to deal with it. I mean, there's just too much money. So, and two things, too much money, and there is an actual fundamental value to the base technology. But I would caution you, not this first wave. Let look, GeoCities was massive. People made so much money buying GeoCities stock. Then everyone who held on to GeoCities stock today is sitting on, nothing, right? Absolutely nothing.
Painful.
Oh, GigaBear says the Token Society protected their tweets. Yeah, that was hilarious. Did you guys follow that on Twitter? I guess some guy posted, happy birthday, Token, and with a picture of Token on it. And then some group called the Token Society said, did you have permission to use that image? Because we paid £18,000 for it, which is like, what, $25,000, something like that. And everyone just laughed them off the internet. I was annoyed with them too, so I actually tweeted about it. Should I NFT the Neko made? You won't own it. You don't have the copyright of it. You just get to say that you're registered in a database somewhere, and all for the low price of, I don't know, what's the going rate for cat girls now? Cat girl NFTs. $50,000. No, that's the price of farts, apparently. Did you hear about this? Some reality television model was selling her farts in a jar and making $50,000 a week, and then got hospitalized because she overdid it or something. Too many beans. Well, at least the product was genuine, right? I mean, someone nearly died for that. So that was not just like, fart spray in a bottle from the joke store. That was, yeah, she was really working for that. It almost killed her.
Wow.
So it's real, and so now that she's retired from the jars, maybe the jar values will go up. It's like, oh, this vintage 2021 fart in a jar is never be produced again.
Oh,
Oh, what a world! What of all the multiverses we could have landed in, this is probably one of the most entertaining. This timeline, man. Oh, all right. Well, let's get back to some Ember stuff. I'm very excited for this month. We have a absolutely huge crossover event happening very soon this month. And I think it's going to be huge. And I'm hoping that it brings a lot of new eyeballs into Ember. And likewise Ember eyeballs onto the crossover thingy that I'm not going to reveal today. Ronan, please stop me if I get anywhere near talking about what it actually is.
understood. Ready to tackle.
Yes, it's Raid Shadow Legends. Very good. You're a fail.
Oh, crap.
Yes, it's our partnership with NordVPN and Raid Shadow Legends combined. No, just kidding. I think you guys will like it. Yeah, and Scoob, I think you're right. The light frame will bring eyeballs to the game. If people can see characters running around next to mechs, that's a big win. But I saw Giga post, because we're going to be releasing the roadmap in January as well. And Giga asked, "Hey, what are we doing with the light frame so far and the heavy frame?" And I'll tell you that right now we're actually working on Crotus's armor and getting Crotus ready for the Kickstarter movie, because I want to also revamp the website and start to have actual images of kaiju renders on there, so people just don't assume we're only about waifus, And mechs everyone has, right? So I was thinking, okay, what if we focus on the kaiju stuff, and we have some of that on the webpage and a little bit of teaser for that. So that's what we're working on right now. But the mechs are also front and center. But I'm just saying that if you want to know what's actually going into final production, that would be Crotus. All right. So yes, we do have a huge. What's huge for us? I don't. This isn't. We're not partnering with Google or anything. But it's a niche, well loved IP. I'll say that. It's a niche, well loved IP that's very successful, that has things in common with Ember. No, it's not EDF. No, it's not PlanetSide.
Things in common, couple things up top, one or two things down below, all kind of things.
All the dangly bits. So I'm excited for that. You're going to see that. We've got a hard deadline for that. So that's the other thing we're doing is we're creating the assets for that. So between Crotus and that's our January. And then I've been working with Harry on the encounter stuff. I actually have a call with him after Chief Chat today. We're doing some some groundwork for dynamic encounter stuff, like truly flexible dynamic encounter stuff, and then getting the next goal is the Tsihu polished up, so we can get the new Tsihu into the game, and we're going to keep everything white. Everything's going to be untextured, and then right before Kickstarter, I want to reveal the texturing and the final lighting and all that stuff. And part of it's just that I want to be able to see how all the artwork meshes together and choose a color palette for the game. And I don't want to do that until we've got the assets running around. So, oh my gosh, we've talked about a lot of other stuff. But yeah, for Ember, I would say that you can expect and the other thing is it's important to get the website revamped, because we're going to be bringing in another bunch of new faces into Ember. And we want to definitely, you guys have given us the feedback. The website should do a little bit better of a job of explaining what the game is, right? Right now it doesn't at all. And it looks like a waifu only game. And so we have to change the vibe of that. So new website, roadmap, Crotus, the new Sihu dynamic encounter, crossover marketing event at the end of this month. That's what you could look forward to that's a very packed January for us. Also, of course, the sale ending today too. So for those of you who are late to the stream, we are having a sale on skins. The skins will be vaulted, so this is your chance to grab them. Sometime after the stream, all that will get turned off. I don't know exactly when because I got to do the call with Harry and a couple other things. So this is it. Yes, thank you, Em. The crossover is really exciting. There's only a couple people. I don't think I told you, Ronan. I don't think I told you about this one yet.
Is this not the one we were trying to get set up some time ago?
It is the one we were trying to get set up back in November.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, it is coming to fruition in a rather big way.
Excellent. Yeah, remember, I have to write down all your ideas because you're moving on to the next one, doing another big cool thing. So I have to.
Oh, that's right. You are the lore master of Ember ideas. All right, Gamma Professor Dr. Sean Harper. Did your name get longer? I swear it got longer from last year. Another question for Grums. How Outposts is planning to place? As for Outposts working, they need to be linked to main base or previous Outpost. So they're supposed to work like RTS bases. So you'll drop a building and it'll be placeable. And I'm currently thinking that it's kind of like an RTS. You have to be within a certain distance of other buildings to place it. Originally, we were thinking that it would be fixed locations, that all bases would kind of have a main platform, and then you plug buildings into them. But I think now with voxel terrain, we have the ability to say, you know what, we can give you more flexibility in placing these buildings because we can sort of sculpt the terrain dynamically around them, flatten areas out that we need to. So it might be more of a radius type of thing. And then those buildings can be improved over time as you put resources into them. So that's all I got right now because it's really up in the air. So remember that we're not going to have bases for the Kickstarter demo. They will be in the movie though. So you'll see them simulated. All right, Big Bud, thanks for stopping in. Firefall crossover, wouldn't that be funny? It's like, yeah, we done this big partnership with the Nine. We're so happy. Yeah, we're so happy.
God. Oh man.
Yeah, Toshi supports terrain flattening. Of course. Grums, can we oh gosh, you guys with the names. Is it DR4G on OV Overlord? Overlord? Is this Leet Speak? Dragon Overlord. There we go. It's Leet Speak. Sorry, I haven't seen Leet Speak in a long time. It's a name I have not heard in many years. Could we have a PvE PvP game mode where we play a StarCraft-like match to build bases that spawn things to help us fight against enemy waves, gather resources? People like that. They're clicking on that. I can't say that we're building an RTS in addition to Ember. I think that would be too much. But if you like the base building, I can't say that there'll be an RTS mode where you can build bases like this. It's not an RTS game. I'm sorry. But you can, it has RTS it's sort of like an RTS from eye level. So you're anyone can place a building if they have the resources, and anyone can contribute to the improvement of that building by injecting resources into the construction. And we talked about maybe an optional game mode where we actually have construction mechs as a goal. Like we talked about having different finance goals for different features. So if we had SCVs you could build, and there was some sort of base building mechanic that people wanted to get into, could do something like that. All right. An RTS mode. Toshi says RTS mode on mobile. Don't you not have phones? You know what no one has said? No one has said, I'm excited for this Blizzard game this year. Oh, how the times have changed. Yep. Nobody. Blizzard has games. I thought they only had controversies. When is Riot's MMO shipping or going to be announced? If they announce this year, that's going to be huge. You know what I'm hoping? That it has the art style of Arcane. I've always wanted an MMO that had these painted like textures. You remember the original Star Wars 3D stuff that was on TV a while back? It had kind of like painterly textures. Arcane just took it to a next level. I've always wanted an MMO with those brush strokes in the textures. I thought it'd be so cool. So I'm excited about that, even though I don't play Riot games at all. I'm looking forward to Blizzard's next lawsuit update. Yeah, but they might announce the MMO won't be ready this year, but they might announce it this year, Mercy. And if they do with footage, I'm gonna get hyped for that. 'Cause, as we discussed at the beginning of the stream, I am a sucker for game hype still, because I just love games. All right. I'm going to keep this stream short. Like I said, I kind of overdid it early in the year. I got too excited, so I'm kind of like resting up here. I'm going to end the stream about an hour in. You guys will still have time for packs and stuff. We could do a raffle to end. In fact, let me check on something. I will get right back to the chat room here. Oh, wait. I want to talk about... Look, December, we had a flub up in the skins. We were not able to... produce a skin on time in December because our artist had a severe... severe power outage, and that is sorry, I'm distracted. A severe power outage. So that power outage basically nuked the entire neighborhood, and and all the trees fell because of the snowfall. There was extreme snowfall, and there's still no power. Power is supposed to be back today, but it looks like it's going to be a couple more days. And so we're gonna go into that in a second. So, but they are safe. But I wanted to let people know that they are going to be delayed. But we're going to be offering 2 skins to those of you who were subbed in December. So those of you who were subscribed in December will get 2 skins, and then we'll go from that. And we do have a skin for January, and it's going to be a male skin. So for those of you who are fans of male skins, that is coming this month. Yep. Yeah, Giga is. And it's gonna be by Andy Face, same artist Giga as Archduke. No. The double skin is something else. The double skin is and that we're getting a male skin for January and a double skin for December. All right, let's go ahead and let's do a raffle here. I'm going to